I am here today to tell you about how God saved my life. When I had a miscarriage with my son Ethan, I was about 19 weeks pregnant, and things were complicated. Everything seemed to be fine until I had to take antibiotics while I was pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage after. But when I went into the hospital, that's when they told me I had a miscarriage. And the nurse told me that God had to take my baby because he was sick. And he's going to give me a new baby that was healthy. I'm like, okay. I tried to commit suicide twice. Didn't work. Well, I about gave up on life basically and just lived like I didn't care anymore. Went to one of my friend's house. She said, I have an extra pregnancy test. I'm like, oh, I'll take it. Just to, goof around. I took the pregnancy test, and here I was pregnant. And the reason I say before now, I had to get all that out before I told you where the part. When I had to go to the hospital when I had the miscarriage, they said, oh, well, you could come back the next day. What do you mean? I got a miscarriage. I got a baby inside of me, and you're telling me the next day scheduling for me to come in. They made me deliver him vaginal. They made me lose my water, have contractions, all that. They made me have the baby. Well, then I wake up hours later. I wake up after them going in and doing what they had to do to me. After I delivered him, the nurse had told us that I had lost 4 pints of blood and that I might need a blood transfusion. There's not one person that was able to give me a blood transfusion. And the reason I say that God's the one that saved me, that didn't let me die. Because I was bleeding like no stop. And me losing all that blood could have made me die. Well, later on, I gained my strength back to get up and go to the bathroom and stuff. I looked like I was half dead. That was the worst experience I ever had to go through in my whole life. Because I already lost custody of one kid. And then I had another, and boom, I had a miscarriage, and it's like, what's going on, I didn't know. But I do believe that God saved my life. And that is why I am the way I am about God. And yes, I talk about God every day, all day long, to whoever. I'll go to a stranger and talk about the Lord. He saved my life. So in return, I should give him my life. So I asked the Lord to renew my mind and my heart and all of it, and he did. Kept wondering and pondering if I would ever change, because I have anger and rage issues. Well, God had one of my friends come to me and tell me that, hey, Debbie, you're different. I was like, is that a good or bad thing? She goes, good thing. So what I'm trying to say is, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be able to tell my testimony. It wasn't anything that I've done wrong. It's just the enemy likes to come in when I'm sinning. And I didn't realize it until the end. I was leaning on my own understandings and everything. And every time I leaned on my own understandings and every time I had a plan, it never fell through and I never knew why. So I did. I looked it up in the Bible. And it showed me that my plans are not his plans. He has way better plans for me than I ever thought. That I still can't even imagine what his plans are for me right now. So I'm just living day by day to let God control it. You know? It's the best way to live. Let God give you what to do that day. Even if you have to say, "Dear Lord, what would you like me to do today?" Don't say it out loud because the devil hears everything. But he cannot read your thoughts. Only God can do that. So when you're talking to the Lord, speak to him in your thoughts when you're alone. That way you can get an actual answer without the enemy coming in and trying to mess with your thoughts and your prayers and everything. Because in Daniel, I'm pretty sure it's Daniel 9, it shows us what happens in the prayer. When we're praying, there's the angels and demons fighting to get our prayer up. Okay? Our angels work really hard to go back and to tell God, "Hey, this is what's up. This is what's going on." You know. And Job is the perfect book to understand the spirit realm. Indeed. Well, I'm sorry I'm babbling. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Lots of love. And I hope this helps somebody. And just remember, just because we're weak doesn't mean we ain't nothing. We might be weak at the moment, but we're stronger than we think. Them are the most times that we are the strongest is when we're weak. My weakness is anger. Okay. Instead of showing the anger towards hatred, show anger of, okay, they're doing wrong. I have the right to be mad. They're not doing right in God's eyes. You know, I don't have the right to say anything because I fall short. I fall short. I'm a sinner. I sin every day. I don't like to sin, but that's not who I am. Sin does not define who we are in God. I will tell you that to the T. All right. Anyway, if anybody wants to have a talk or just say hey, I'm here. For anybody that needs to talk, I'm here. Prayers, love, and hugs. God bless everyone.